Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all of you. I'm very happy to see so many of you again. This evening of March 26, 2025. I was fully engaged in political activities. Since yesterday, I was in front of the press, and today, all day, I was in front of the press to announce to the people of Guinea the content of our societal project. You are well aware that I am the president of a political party in Republic of Guinea and declared candidate for the presidential elections. We will come back to that. International news revolves around this. General Abdou Amantiani, who was inaugurated today with a new status. Abdou Amantiani has changed status. This is causing some discontent. First of all, it must be said that since the coup d'etat in 2023, I believe it was on June 26, 2023, if I'm not mistaken about the date, for some time now, national conferences have been organized with the aim of reorganizing the transition, reorganizing Nigerian political life, and cleaning up this political life on the side of Niger. Niger is not the first country to start. We have already seen Burkina Faso, we have seen Mali. Niger comes in third position. So, after consulting all social strata, it was decided to take certain measures. And the report was proposed to President Tchiani, to the Council of Ministers. On March 10, they analyzed and approved several elements of this report. Among these elements that were approved, we have in the first position the promotion to the rank of Army General. Yes, since he was a Brigadier General, if I'm not mistaken. And it was decided to promote him. There you go. His promotion to the rank of Army General, that's it, Army General. From now on, he's no longer a Brigadier General, but an Army General. That's one. Secondly, it was decided to adopt the Charter of Constitutional Refoundation. Not a constitution, or at least a constitution that bears the name Charter of Constitutional Refoundation. Share the video conference with me, please. Give it a lot of likes. Yes. So, it was also decided to extend this term, the transition term, by 5 years. Modifiable. That is to say, the number of years can be increased just as it can be reduced. Do you see today? We will go over all the aspects, all these elements, we will go into details, but already, right from the start, what should be noted is that today we have another form of democracy that is emerging in Africa. The true expression of the people's will. It's true, there will always be some opposition, and that's what democracy is. Some are there who do not agree with what is happening, who believe that it is dictatorship. But obviously, the dictatorship of the majority is what we call democracy. But this time, it is not a democracy in the Western sense. If we say that democracy is the expression of the people's will, the will of the majority, what the majority wants is what will be done. The people have therefore decided, the Nigerian people have decided to ensure that the transition continues. Because the head of state who is there is doing a good job. The only problem is that it is not a democracy in the Western way, since Western-style democracy would mean that it is the Westerners who decide. Unofficially, their candidate. Western-style democracy is the continuation of colonization, it is neocolonialism. In Western democracy, a man is chosen, he is funded. He is talked about in the media, efforts are made to impose him in the collective consciousness. People are made to understand that yes, he is the right person. When you take such a group, they say it's him, it's him. You know that the Westerners are within their reach. Before, in fact, you know that their media was very followed. So they ensure that those candidates are imposed. Elections are organized. They fund fraud, massive fraud. They send their special envoys to, as they say, be observers. These latter come, they observe. Even if there were irregularities, there was fraud. You hear them say, no, yes. The elections went well, notwithstanding some minor irregularities that do not hinder the proper conduct of the process. They themselves return validated because they know that these are their men. It's their men they have appointed. Today we are witnessing something else. Another form of democracy, African style. Africans decide to sweep it aside with a wave of the hand. The democratic process that was imposed on them by the Westerners. And that's what happened in Mali. That's what happened in Burkina. And that's what's happening in Niger. The Nigerian people have decided to make the world understand that it's nonsense to keep calling Théa, General Théa, to continue calling him the head of transitions. Now, from now on, since he is the head of the Republic of Niger, he must be called His Excellency, Mr. President of the Republic. So, they have inaugurated him. He now holds this title. And on all official documents, it will be signed as President of the Republic. He even took an oath. He was elevated to the rank of Army General. It is not just a symbolic title. It is to strengthen his power in the army, because it gives him authority over the military. He is now the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. So, the advantage of this, we know that Niger is in conflict with terrorist groups. The advantage is to ensure that the fight against terrorism is effective, to allow stability within the country. So, there are several approaches. The Reformation, the upcoming adoption of what is called the Charter of Constitutional Reformation, which will change the situation, which will change the political system. The political system will be crafted in the manner and vision of General Abdul Rahman Tchiani and the vision of the AES. So, the new constitution that Niger will adopt will reflect the philosophy of those currently in power. And this is what the Westerners do not like. When our laws reflect our realities, we manage to better align ourselves and better channel political life within our nations. And this is what Tchiani wants to do. So, there are frictions within. On the side of another aspect, one of the key points, which is the dissolution of political parties. This is being considered. I don't know at the moment if it has been decided, but dissolving political parties is being considered. And there are recommendations to establish, to clean everything up, and to review the framework of the existence of political parties. I say it, I am entirely in agreement with the idea of reviewing the system of functioning of political parties across all our states. Even in our country, the Republic of Guinea, we are witnessing the streamlining of political parties. The Ministry of Territorial Administration, the current government in Guinea, is seeking to reduce the number of political parties. And what is bad is that most political parties in our states are funded by imperialists. Since they themselves cannot come and act, they fund them. They provide them with all the means of communication, everything you need, everything you know. And then their role is to annoy the regime in place. And that's what we often call, the opposition does not agree. The opposition as such. Yet they are funded to annoy the regime in place. And what is the main objective? They must continue to annoy. There should not be stability. Because as long as there is stability here, we then have the time to think about development. But when it goes ouch, the opponents are there against the regime. The grounds are there. You are first concerned with how to preserve peace. So you will never think about development. And as long as we don't think about development, they are comfortable. We will continue to send them our raw materials, as President Ibrahimtraoré said. We will continue to transport them. And as long as our raw materials go to them, they are happy. That's what enriches them. But if we don't have terror in our surroundings, we don't have terrorists. If we don't have a moderate opposition which claims objectively, calmly, without violence, we have the time to manage everything and to think about development issues that particularly involve the on-site processing of our raw materials. And if our raw materials are processed on site, well, listen, the price will increase. It will enrich our countries. But what will the Westerners do? They don't have raw materials. The Westerners don't have raw materials. So, the West will continue, will start to become impoverished. So, that's what they don't want. So, in short, that's the current situation. We will return to other aspects. The video conference is already getting very long. We will return to other aspects, dear ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for sharing this video conference as much as possible and for subscribing so you don't miss our analyses, our conferences. I will get back to you shortly with new updates. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.